I still see you. Who is responsible for sharing the presentation? Maybe it would be nice to share the first slide to have it as a background. Carolina, I think it's for you to share the video. I mean the slide.
We have Anna Charnota Olszewska who wants to say something. I don't know.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cristina Somogyi. I will be your guide through this afternoon. I think we will wait 2 more minutes before we start our webinar. So, hello everyone. I welcome all the guests, the speakers, and the members of our group to on this very nice occasion, which is the webinar about the next Golden Cubes Award. We are very happy to share information about our Precious Award. So I'm Kristina Somogyi. I'm an architect critique with a background of communication and environmental psychology. I am the Hungarian member of the UIE Architecture and Children Work Program as delegate of AHA and a jury member of the previous Golden Cubes Award. So I will guide you through this 1.5 hour program of our webinar. Just to give you a short structure, we will first have the speakers from the organizers, and then we will have 2 presentations of previous winners, followed by a short discussion of 2 previous jury members. We will finish with a Q&A section, so I kindly ask you to write your questions during the talks as comments, because we will read that out later on. Your speaker is muted, so you can only communicate with us in a written media. I will pay attention to the incoming question and try to categorize them, so as at the end we can wrap up everything and be concise. So let's start. Thank you again for joining us. And I will give the floor to Carolina Pizarro, who is a Chilean Costa Rican architect, but also a museographer, a set designer, and a culture manager. She's the director of Arquitectos, Architecture City and Childhood of Costa Rica since 2000. And she's also professor of architecture in various public and private schools and communities in Costa Rica. She's manager and coordinator of ANDA, Architecture and Childhood of the American Group, since 2015. Karen is as well a well-known figure of Bee Society at home and, of course, internationally. She has been the official map, the UIE Architecture and Children Work Program for 15 years now, and she was a jury member for our Precious Award twice already. Now she's the co-director of our work program. Carolina, please welcome our guests.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. It's a pleasure for me to welcome you today to this important webinar, which will give you a better understanding of the dynamics of the 6th edition of the Golden Cubes Awards. Bonjour, bon après-midi et bonsoir à tous. C'est un plaisir pour moi de vous accueillir aujourd'hui à cet important webinaire qui vous permettra de mieux comprendre la dynamique de la 6e édition de Golden Cubes Award. Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches a todos. Es un placer para mí hoy dar la bienvenida a este importante webinar del cual podrán entender la dinámica de los Golden Cube Award en su 6ª edición. I will be continuing in English. Thank you. Before to begin, I want to briefly tell you who we are, what we do, and how do we do it. We are the Architecture and Children Work Program of the International Union of Architects, UIA, comprised of the more than 50 architects from countries around the world representing the 5 continents. What do? We seek to raise children's awareness about the built environment, architecture, urban planning, and sustainable development. Fostering knowledge in this field from an early age will ensure their development as responsible citizens capable of making their voices heard and influencing the political, economic, and social strategies that shape cities and their environment. How do we do it? Through the UIA Built Environment Education Guidelines, which are designed to guide architects and educators around the world in a successfully collaborating. Through the UIA Charter for the Education in the Built Environment, which was created to influence public policy and promote architecture in service to the needs of society in accordance with UEA missions. The Charter constitutes the framework that provides guidance to governments, authorities, institutions, architects, and educators involved in the creation, development, and implementation of education in the built environment. Through knowledge exchange, the UIA Architecture and Childhood Work Program website It is an international exchange platform for environmental education professionals and stakeholders, provide architects, educators, and policymakers with information, documents, materials, tools, and resources. Also, through the UIA Golden Cubes Award. These triennial awards recognize those who prepare our children and young people to participate effectively in the creation and intelligent use of architecture that is human, sustainable, fair, and respectful of its context. This is the theme that brings us together today and which my colleagues will address in more detail later. Thank you and welcome, everybody.
Thank you very much, Carolina. And I'm asking Susanne Della Valle, our former co-director of Work Program, to introduce Golden Cubes Award. While she starts putting her presentation on, I will quickly introduce her. She's an architect educated in the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm with a PhD in architecture design methodology. For 2 decades, she has running a freelance research business in Stockholm, architecture analysis, and was working with R&D projects concerning built environment education, school planning, research, and post-occupancy evaluation. She has been publishing books about architecture and children education, about built environment education, walkthrough evaluation, and recently about school planning research, and she also produced films about some of the evaluation projects. Susanna is a member of the UIA VP Architecture and Children program representing the Nordic countries, and she was our co-director between 2017 and 2023. She has a fantastic knowledge about Golden Cubes Award, as she has published summaries of previous awards. Susanna, the floor is yours. We can't hear you. Put on your mic. Susanna, you are muted.
I can't activate.
It's fantastic. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I could not manage. Thank you. I'm going to tell you about the 2023 version of Golden Cubes Awards, and we have had our precious awards. We have been doing 5 editions. 2011, 2014, 2017, 2020, and 2023. And I'm going to tell you a bit about the last one, and our next is towards 2026. So the Golden Cubes Awards is to honor those who help children and young people to understand architecture. And in 2023, we had 31 countries that participated, and we had 82 national best nominations were sent to UIA. So the international jury had a big job doing, reading all the entries and making a judgment. And we have 4 categories in the Golden Cubes Awards. We have institutions, we have schools, we have written media, and audiovisual media. And as you see the numbers here, we have 30 entries of institution and 19 entries of schools and 17 entries of written media and 15 entries of audiovisual media. So you see institutions are the most popular, and we have had it like that through the years. And the international jury 2023 was very international, and we have some of the jury members here today. Angela Million from Germany, and we have Peter Exley from USA. We also have here Basafei Eldin with us today, I think. And the jury did a fantastic job. Here is a picture, picture from the jury. That had nice time. We had to meet twice, I think, to make all the decisions. And now I'm going to show you a very short presentation of the winners and the special mentions. And the first is institutions. And the award winner was from Germany. And the winner project was Spielstadt Mini München Play City Mini München. So they built a mini München with the children, and then they also played mini München and played that they were managed city. So they really had great fun, and the jury thought this was very interesting about education, about urban dynamics in city life. It can never be more fun to go. And we also have an honorable mention from Portugal. And that was, let's renovate our garden and make bridges out of walls. And the entrance was Archiplay, architecture is for all. And the jury thought this was very interesting projects in vulnerable neighborhoods in Portugal. And you see the starting point, expression of ideas, then collaborative synthesis of the project, and transformation and actions, and then at the right outcomes from the project. So they did the whole design process with the children. And we had another honorable mention from Denmark, and it was architecture building kits for hospitalized children. So they had made kits for hospitalized children to build a little house for some imaginable animals, and they thought that was very fun, of course. And so the jury thought this was really important thing to do for children in hospital. Then we have schools, and the award winner was Japan. And it was a workshop centered on building a straw hut. And it was an architecture studio who did this together with preschool children. And you can see the result of the traditional old hut built from rice straws. And the children could follow the whole the design process and also work and build together with the architects. Next honorable mention was from Nigeria, and it's a religious great Christian learning center called this project Thank God It's Friday, and they explained how they were working together with the children and doing a lot of interesting things. And they were working on reduce, reuse, recycle, and upcycle were the theme of this, the work they do. And there is also an honorable mention from Romania, and it was the Park Tribune school, Dimitri Angel Secondary School in Romania made the children designed a park where from the schoolyard where they could have sit. They used the landscapes and made an amphitheater. The written media winner from Hungary, who we will hear, Rita Terpe and Dora Sempandrasi. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they will present this project for you later this afternoon. And they made a fantastic book, the Landscape Space Repository, where they suggest interesting workshops for children and schools to do forming the landscape. And the jury thought it was a well-structured methodological handbook that makes landscape education easy through an architecture and art approach. The other special mention, honorable mention from written media was from Serbia, and this was as often in written media, it could be books, but it could also be different kind of games. And this is an example of a game that you could use in school to the spectre, the sustainability inspector. So the children play, they are inspecting the school and see how sustainable it is. So another honorable mention was from Japan, and it is also an example of a game, a card game with building cards and events card, and so the children could learn and be active through this game. It's also about sustainability, the theme of this game. Last, we are coming to the audiovisual media, and the winner is Egypt, and we will hear Hadir Said Dahab, who is with us today, who will present this project for us. And it's Hadir is working with film. And this project is called Al Khalifa Urban Dreams. So she will explain everything for you later, but it's a the jury really thought this was interesting, with an collaboration and engagement of international placemaking film producing team together with BEE educators. This project captured the youth change of their own perspective and relationships to the natural and urban heritage of their vulnerable historic area.
Susanne, I'm sorry, we have to speed up a little bit.
Okay, I'm just in the end here of Israel, who made something with the app where the children could learn about the city, and we have Canada, who made a play shop critically where the children could have animation videos. That was the audiovisual. And then at the end, when the jury did the job, we presented everything in Copenhagen in the Congress there. And here is our exhibition and picture from the exhibition. And we also had a seminar where the winners could present their projects, and everyone was standing up so we could see all people. And this is from the prize ceremony with let's see here, with the UIA president Jose Luis Cortes from Mexico and UIA Secretary General Tan Pei-ying from Malaysia. And we have Hadir and what's your name now? Rita. Yeah. So And here is all the winners that were in Copenhagen on the picture. And this is how the entrance of the World Congress looked. So that's all from me.
Thank you very much, Susanne. I hope it was a really interesting and intriguing presentation that will call your interest to participate. Golden Cubes Awards has a regulation that you find on our website. However, every year or every edition has some specialities. There are some new regulations Mina will speak about later on. But now I'm kindly asking Eva Struzinska to speak about a speciality, a new topic that we are introducing for this edition. Please, Eva, unmute yourself while I present you. So Eva Struzinska is a French architect who lives and works in Paris. She is the former president director of our group. She's also the founder of Golden Cubes Awards. So she is the mother of this fantastic award we are having today. And she is also initiator of the charter that was already mentioned by Carolina, which is a most important legal document that you also can find on our webpage, translated into several languages. So if you are interested in the agenda we are really committed to, please go on our webpage, see the charter and also the regulation. So Eva, I'm kindly asking you to present the special hot topic category.
Hello, everybody. Okay, I will say a small introduction explanation for the new special award. Since climate crisis has already disrupted communities and ecosystems worldwide, the effects of climate change on ecosystems, economies, and communities have been motivating factors for migrations and urbanization. And since by 2050, there will be about 143 million internal climate-related migrants across sub-Saharan South Asia, Latin America, Europe, etc., if climate mitigating actions are not taken, 1 billion children will be considered multidimensionally poor, as they don't have access to basic necessities such as food, clean water, sanitation, and education. And as the world goes, wars make it even worse. Children migration experience interrupted education, social and developmental progress, because their housing, healthcare, education, and social life are disrupted. So it is imperative to help ensure children's overall development and safety. And as you know, education is one of the pillars, and this is where we can help. This is why we have chosen to stress this in including a special award for this edition, and we hope for the next edition also, if the situation persists or even could get worse, we don't know. And in the regulation, the special award, as it is specified, I will not now quote it. You will find it in on our site. It says the Golden Cubes Awards aims to raise awareness of built environment education in relation to current global challenges. Each edition of the award will focus on a specific hot topic selected by the international jury from among the nominated projects across the 4 award categories. This selected project will receive an additional special award. So, to specify, it's not another category, it's one project selected from out of the 4 categories that is in the hot topic. The hot topic project will be one that has been implemented in a context of significant societal disruption, such as war, natural disasters, climate change, or other crises that result in widespread human, material, or environmental losses. This ensures that the award recognizes initiatives that address urgent global issues through built environment education. This is what is in our regulation, this text. As an example, of the hot topic project could be a program that empowers youth to protect natural resources, who support community recovery, that safeguards heritage, that support crisis response in regions impacted by armed conflicts and disasters caused. Projects that help children overcome the trauma and pain and distress. We may never be able to take away all the pain, but we can create space where children heal. Through our creative and evidence-based approach, we work exclusively to enhance the innate resilience of children and communities. That's why we think it's important to have it as a hot topic. That's all.
Eva, thank you very much for explaining the reason for the hot topic, also for the proposition of the hot topic. I think it's very important that we react to the happenings around the world. And I just repeat that this is not a new category. This is a special award that the international jury will pick out of the sent projects. So briefly have now a picture about the award, but I'm certain that it would be much more understandable if we will present some of the project in detail. So we have invited two winners today to share their project and also their feelings about the Golden Cubes Awards. First, I would like to invite the winner of the written category, Rita Terbe and Dóra Szentandrásy, who are the main instructors of Gyik Műhely, Gyik Art School. They teach and work in Budapest, that is the city where I'm speaking from now. They are part of a group that has developed a methodology to improve children's special skills. Landscape Space Repository is their last pedagogical publication that received the 2023 Golden Cubes Award of the written media category. Rita and Dora, I'm inviting you to share your presentation.
Thank you, Christina, for the introduction. And thank you, Susanna, to the pronunciation of my name was super excellent. And welcome to all. First of all, we would like to thank both the Hungarian and the International UIA and Golden Cubes Awards for inviting us to present our work. So my name is Dóra Szentandrásy, and I'm here with my colleague and friend Rita Terbe. She is an architect too, so we are both architects. And today we present together our book as a printed media and the institution where it was developed, the Children and Youth Art Studio Foundation. The nickname is Gyik Studio. The book was co-authored by the four of us, but unfortunately, sorry, we can't, it's better, okay, sorry. So the book was co-authored by the four of us, but unfortunately, Anna Eplényi and Gertrude Schmidt couldn't join us today. But before we present our publication, we would like to give you a brief overview of Gyik Studio. This institute is unique in Hungary and internationally, as it has been involved in the visual education of children for more than 50 years. It has been operating since 1975. The studio, essentially a fine arts workshop, brings together several disciplines: painting, graphic design, photography, art history, museum pedagogy, textile art, landscape architecture, and architectural design.
Maybe sunken eyes learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird fly.
We run weekly afternoon sessions for children during the year and camps during the summer. Teacher training is also a priority for us, so we have created an accredited further education for teachers, focusing on the development of spatial skills in built environment. We cooperate with some Hungarian professional organizations and teacher training universities. Today, rather than presenting the book in detail, we would like to focus on sharing our experiences of the application process, and we are happy to share these experiences with this year's competitors. As we prepared for today, we relived the exciting and inspiring process of Golden Cubes Award from 3 and 6 years ago. Yes, the one 6 years ago too, because in 2020, the JX Studio has submitted proposals in 2 categories, institution and written media. The first and second edition of the book have already been published in Hungarian. Unfortunately, we didn't win the national competition 6 years ago. We were quite disappointed at first. After the award ceremony, Rita and I walked home and talked about why our project might not have been selected. Besides self-reflection, we also made the decision to try it again. We decided to translate the second edition of the book in order to submit it for the next Golden Cubes Award. Translating the book into English had been on our minds for years, but the demands of the day-to-day work always took precedence. But we finally had no more excuses and started translating the book into English. The translation was supported by the Budapest Chamber of Architecture. Once again, we would like to thank the Golden Cubes for not selecting our first submission, a decision that ultimately encouraged us to develop an international publication. So now let's turn to the last competition from 3 years ago. By working on the submission, we tried to avoid focusing on present art studio, but to make it clear that the book is based on a methodology that has been around for decades. In the free expression section, the book was presented in a structured way. After a brief introduction, the focus and aim of the book were presented, followed by details on its structure and the use of materials in the exercise presented in the book. It was also important to us to show the results of the book. For the outcomes and valuation section, the results were based on facts and figures, which included how many trainers participated in our training, what publications were published, and what other events were carried out in relation to the book. The visual content presented in the application helped to understand the text content. And now I will give the floor to Rita, who will present the book in detail.
Welcome to all. I would like to briefly present our book. The theme of our book is landscape and built environment education through creative activities. Our goal is to develop abstract spatial thinking. The book is divided into 6 topics with more than 50 exercises. This slide shows one work from each of these 6 themes. Now I want to show you what Golden Cubes has given us. Our work has entered the international community. The Golden Cubes competition brought together 82 of the best entries from 31 countries. There were 4 categories: institution, schools, written media, and audio-visual media. The award ceremony took place at the World Congress of Architecture in Copenhagen, where built environment education has its own exhibition stand to show the winners. This exhibition was open to the public during the World Congress, which attracted a lot of attention. The winners presented their winning work at the Congress. Before and after the presentation, the international speakers meet each other. We were very pleased that so many people were interested in the topic. During the conference, the B team organized joint activities in Copenhagen and Malmö. There we listened to lectures on architecture and children issues and saw street furniture made for children. These programs have helped us to get to know each other. I should mention that lectures and exhibitions at the World Congress of Architecture were open to us, which was very useful and gave us new information about environmental architecture. The award ceremony was held at the closing event of the World Congress. Never before I have been on so big stage, and never before have so many people applauded us for our work. The afterlife of the book and the big congress, recognition from my rector of my university in Hungary, and the work of our workshop has become even better new and more important in our country. We continue with the Built Environment Education Workshop for Children. Here you can see Middle Ages themes, castle, map, Gothic church floor plans, sainted glass window and sculpture. And we will continue with teachers' workshops on modeling and environmental education, clay plasters, prints, space sculpture, and space fabric on wood. This year, our workshop celebrated its 50th birthday, not 15, 50. We produced a new book with the history of our workshop and awards, for example, the Golden Cubes, a new built environments creation. We continued to participate in conferences on education, architecture, and the built environment. The latest one, organized by Kristina Somogyi, was in Budapest in March, Térfoglalás, Built Environment, Culture in School.
We would like to thank the UIA for its contribution for the visibility of built environment education at national and the international level. Professional recognition helps the effort and survival to experts and organizations working in this field. The results are already starting to show, not only in practice, but also in academia. A wide range of publications, professional trainings, presentations, and conferences have taken place. Over the past few years, 6 doctoral theses have been defended in this field in Budapest, 2 of them by Rita and me. There have also been several references to GEEG workshop. So more and more children have and will have the opportunity to participate in such education, which may in the longer term could have an impact on our built environment. We wish for this year's participants to find the process both inspiring and meaningful. Finally, we would like to thank the children, our colleagues, and the professional organizations for support us.
Dear colleagues, thank you very much for your presentation, which was really inspiring. Thank you, it was great. And now I'm asking Hadir Ezdahab to head her own presentation. And just some words about her project and her. She's a Nubian community architect and a cultural heritage specialist. She's also a university instructor and a consultant for UNESCO, the British Museum, and also to other institutions. In 2023, the hub led the Al Khalifa Urban Dreams film series that won the UIA Golden Cubes Award Audiovisual Media category that was already presented by Susanne. With the presentation of this project, she argues that the engagement of youth to transform cultural heritage can be a catalyst for social impact and creative entrepreneurship. Hadir, please start your presentation. I'm so glad you are with us today.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Can everybody see my presentation? Is it clear?
Yes, it is fine. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I'm honored today to talk about El Khalifa Urban Dreams. So these are the outlines of my presentation, but to talk more about the film and the idea of the film, first I was the project manager of this project, but also we have partners from Dr. Jessica Jacob and Vitor. Both of them are main partners with us, but let's start with the idea of what happens when we give the cameras to young people and ask them to see their historic neighborhoods. So this was one of the participants who were trying to take her mobile phone and start to shoot one scene from her idea of a movie. So how it is, so El Khalifa Urban Dream, how can youth connect to their natural heritage with their urban heritage? This answer leads to the award, but let's start with the context first. So I'm talking about historic Cairo, and it is a World Heritage Site listed from 1997, and we are talking about El Khalifa area, which is here. And I have been working in this area since for over 10 years now with the kids, and it is on the southern section of the historic Cairo, which has a lot of monuments, but also the community is very vibrant, especially the kids. And I have been working in this project in collaboration with the Asal Lana initiative. And Asal Lana has its own vision about how making cultural heritage as a catalyst for development and also engaging local community as a main stakeholders of this development. And one of these main stakeholders are the kids. So they are working on 3 actions line: heritage education, conserving heritage sites, and also integrated solutions. So I have been working with them on the idea of interpreting heritage to kids and engaging kids in learning more about their built environment collective. So our journey started from after COVID, during COVID, we had this online. We used to work with children for over 8 years, and then during COVID, we started El Khalifa Goes Online, when we started to work with the youth on the idea of having a phone and then start to shoot from their windows or even in the streets, and the idea of talking with them through Zoom. This was a very interesting thing for us during pandemic, and our first collaboration with Queen Mary University and Meta Films was during El Khalifa Love Letters, and the participants of this workshop was also who continued with us on El Khalifa Urban Dreams. So what happened is we started a series of short films where they take their cameras and phone cameras and start to start to discover their neighborhood and their relation to the neighborhood during COVID time. And this project was called Love Letters to Khalifa. And based on this project, we had El Khalifa Urban Dreams. So we started to build on what we have with the youth and start to, after pandemic, to work more about during their mid-year vacation. We started to work with them on their idea of their built environment. It's not only about the building, but also about all the living environment in their neighborhood. So we had a different visits to see the history of the city, not only in their neighborhood, but also on the bigger scale. And they started to learn also the practicality of using their phone to shoot different scenes and to understand what is the different, how to use filmmaking as a tool to document and observe their built environment and make a new connection in relation with it. And these are some scenes from their films. And based on the previous project, and during this project, we developed a methodology where they started first to explore the wildlife So we had a different visits outside their neighborhoods to understand the urban history of the city itself, Cairo, and then we applied this on their neighborhood, on Al Khalifa, so they have a new lens for understanding their city. Parallel to that, Professor Jessica and Vetor started to filmmaker Jacob started to work with them about the technicalities of doing a shooting plan, a shooting schedule, how to understand the narrative, and how to develop a story of a film that is related to their neighborhood. And after this, we start to shoot all the films. So what we have is, it's not only educational material that is in Arabic and in English, and now also Al-Asr Lana have been using it for teaching different children, but also, and of course, colorful storyboards that tells the story and the relation to their neighborhood, but also 5 films that tell different stories about their historic area and the relation to it. The first I will not. I don't think that I will have time. I will have time to show the films, but they already there, and I will share the QR code and the link for them. But each film is handling a different topic related to the built environment and the urban history of their neighborhood. So the first one is talking through animals' point of view, and the other one is talking about transportation in their neighborhood, tuk-tuk, and the third one was related to city dreams. And this was an interesting film because this was a show. It's like the ideas of 5 films that we couldn't shoot because of the practicality of how the participants were thinking about the films, and what are our possibilities and what are their capabilities during the time, and also during the mobile camera. And the last 2 things, one of them is about the pigeon coop, and which is very famous in their neighborhood, and the final one was about also birds. And from Al Khalifa to Copenhagen, so we luckily, by support of Dr. Hiba Sobeiddin, we won the first prize, and these are the children, most of them who won the prize during in the House of Architecture in February. And from Al Khalifa, we went to Copenhagen, and during this visit, we had the chance also to present the project, and also sitting in the booth, in the UIA booth, and understanding different things about not only the Golden Cube, but the whole program, and what are the different activities and programs that is offered. And this is during the international ceremony. And these are the kids, and you can scan the QR codes to watch the films.
Hadir, thank you very much. It was very nice. It was inspirational. I remember the jury talk about the project, how enthusiastic we were, and I'm still am. I'm just calling the attention of our guests that if you have questions about a project or about the regulation, down you see the Q&A question mark. You can write there your questions. So at the end, we can discuss it. So thanks again. And I think we had 2 very nice presentations for a good award, a good competition. It's very nice to have a good regulation, good project, but also we need a jury. And the importance of the jury is always a nice question. So I'm now calling 2 jury members, 2 my colleagues, to speak about how the jury process was. So Professor Angela Millian and Professor Peter Exley, please unmute yourself. Just quickly to introduce you, Peter Exley was the 97th president of the American Institute of Architects and head of the last Golden Cubes jury. He is co-founder of Architecture is Fun, and he uses the power to design, to build places and spaces that reflect the values, ambitions, and purpose of every stakeholder on myriadic civil, cultural, private, and non-for-profit agencies. Angela Millian is also a professor. She's professor of urban design and urban development at TU Berlin, Germany. As a director of the DAAD Global Center of Spatial Methods for Urban Sustainability, her practice focuses on participatory urban design and Baukultur, with a special interest in cities and an educational setting, children and youth. I welcome you both. Hadir, could you, yes, Peter, and unmute yourself, and I can't see you, Angela. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so I will ask 5 questions to speak about a little bit the whole process. So the first question, the general one, what is your memory? What is your experience of the jury process? Was there anything that surprised you, that was really especially interesting for you? Please, Peter or Angela, start. Who will
You
go
wanna go
first?
first, Angela?
Please.
Okay, yeah, I can. Yes, first of all, thank you for being here and having the pleasure to see go back in memory to when we looked at these more than 80 projects. And this is maybe the one thing I do remember. It was tough. It was tough to look at all these projects, to understand them, and then in the end to narrow it down to just a few. Because I really have to say, I've seen a lot of projects where I would say that would have deserved a prize. And this is something I think to be in a jury is always interesting because it's a learning moment. Even for me, I get an overview what's going on. I learn from different new projects I did not have in mind. But then to select just a few as the winners or as honorable mentioners, it was a hard process.
Peter?
Yeah, I hope I'm not going to sound repetitive because there's some experiences that were just very vivid to me. I'm 3 things in my own professional life. I'm a professor, so I spend a lot of time, obviously in the classroom. I have a practice, and I involve myself in other leadership issues. I'm the dean of one of the oldest architecture schools in the United Kingdom right now. Everyone has seen in this presentation that from Dora and Rita and from Hadia how immersed kids were, these young designers, these young architects in their community. They weren't sat at a desk speculating about what the future is like, which is, I think, what a lot of architects have a tendency to do. So there's magnificent success in so many of these projects because they're about community engagement and thinking about the built environment. It's part of everybody's lives, and it seemed spectacularly intuitive for them to explore that, to be a first person in that. And then what's even more spectacular than that is their ability to story tell and deliver that to us. And as a jury, we had the privilege of seeing it, I suppose, for the first time. It's been shared today, and it's still impactful. So if anybody is contemplating entering next time, I think that's what you're going to find the experience to be, or particularly if it's going to be a successful one. It's about the immersion of these future designers, these future leaders, these future teachers into their communities and giving them the responsibility for it.
Let's stay with the written media and audiovisual media because we had the 2 presentations. we have quite strict regulations. There is one poster that is delivered. You mentioned the importance of emerging in the project, but also the storytelling part. How can you convey a message through a very limited space? So what was your experience? How this really community immersed practice went through the images, or was it the images or more the text? So how did you react?
I think,
You know,
yeah, go
sorry.
for it.
The posters are nicely designed. You know, there's the short introduction is critical and essential. To hit the nail on the head. That's obvious to everybody on this on this day and at this meeting, but I can't emphasize that enough. You know, it's that elevator pitch that gets you in there, and then we're drawn to the brilliant imagery or to the storytelling. I mean, Dora and Rita, just seeing the book, you want the book. It visually is so appealing. I don't know whether that's answering the question there, Christine, but
Yes, yes, it answers.
make
Angela?
an impact.
Yes, I think it's a little bit what Peter said already. First of all, you have to understand quickly what the project is about. And I have to admit, I've seen posters where I really needed time to really understand what the project is about. So my strong advice to everyone is if you prepare the poster, get somebody who doesn't know the project to be your test. To kind of like do a pre-test, what we sometimes do in research too. Because it's really it doesn't mean that you can't win if we don't need so much time to understand what the project is about, because there is a number of people in the jury and some people maybe did get it earlier than others, yeah. But nevertheless, to make to transport the key informations on the project is very important. The visuals was already discussed by Peter, that of course understanding what's going on in the if you do a film, you have to make us wanting to see that film. And I mean, through the link, etc., we then can access, of course, the internet and look at, yeah, if it's done already. The book we don't have in our hand, but if it is open access, of course, you can give us the link and we can have a look at it. But I have to admit that I usually look for at least in the jury, since I have been in the field already more than 20 years. I have an own NGO doing architecture education with children. I look for something where I'm kind of like, oh, this is interesting. I haven't heard, read, seen anything like that. Or the aspect of context and topic. So we don't know a lot about what's going on in Africa, for example. We don't sometimes know a lot what's going on in Arabic countries when it comes to BE activities there. So the context itself was also something that caught my attention, that I really wanted, and then in combination with the topic, I wanted to understand what is this project about. And so my strong advice would be, besides transporting the project itself, to maybe make clear what is the context you're working in and what is the uniqueness of your project. And the uniqueness can be very various. It could be the group you're working with, it could be the topic you're working on, it could be the methods you use, the outcomes, etc. So this is something that I felt also when it came to the written and audiovisual media, that somehow leaded me. And sometimes it also needs a second look on a project to kind of like be convinced that this is really something neat. And when, for example, heard that the book of Dora and Rita is open access, I was kind of like, yes, this is wonderful, because I know so many colleagues around the globe that they don't have the budget to buy nice looking books and ship them maybe over to another continent to even have access to it. So, so to me, open access is something that if we can make it happen, it's not always possible, is also something that's very important when it comes to written media and when it comes to audiovisual media. And these two projects, they got a check from me on that side right at the beginning. So so that is something that at least I had in mind looking at these projects.
Thank you. We have spoken a little bit about written media and audiovisual media, and in a way it's more simple to understand. While we have two other categories, institution and school. Let's start with the institution. Susanna has said that this is the most famous, or where we have the most numerous entries. And of course, there are all around the world fantastic enthusiast colleagues who are doing built environment education. In the institution category, how did you make your choice? So what caught your attention?
Hard question. I between the four categories, I personally, and this is, post the jury, I rather reflect on it as being rather blurry where the edges are. Again, I'm inclined to go back and look at what the experience was. That some kids actually built a city, amazing. But that, I'm not answering the question at all. I think you've got to just, or I react to the spirit of an invention of the experience that was brought to each of these. And I suppose seeing, seeing the built city is perhaps the greatest emphasis you could place on that. And the extraordinary ability of young professionals to do that. I shouldn't call them kids, to do something as ambitious as that. Just extraordinary there. I don't know whether that places more responsibility on those categories.
I see your point.
I don't want I don't want to be diminishing any of the categories.
No, but I remember that we had difficult discussions because there was so many very interesting projects, but it was difficult to compare. Angela, what is your recalling?
Christina, just to understand your question, right? You're talking about the category of institutions or schools?
Yes,
institutions.
Where we had Mini München project winning, and we had one project from Portugal and Denmark, as mentioned. Denmark was the hospital project.
Yeah, to me, I see two differences. If you work in a school context, I mean, school context is a context where you kind of like enter an institution, a clear institution that has its rule, its own logics, and so on. So, and you don't have that when you are in institutions working outside of schools. Yeah. So actually, my expectation to institutions working outside of school are much, maybe a little bigger or higher when it comes to what approaches they use, how they partner up, how they upscale, downscale, etc. Because we all know the limits. When we work with schools, with teachers, with kids in schools, we know that we have to kind of like work with the context of this institution. But if you work outside, again, you have a lot more options. That is great because you can do various things. But on the other hand, it's maybe also more challenging. So here, indeed, I come back to a little bit what I said before. I look at the uniqueness of the approach. So was there something done I have not seen before, or I've seen that they are kind of like maybe also the role model of future development, kind of like can others learn from these projects?
So are you suggesting that the institutional category is a more free or a more challenging category, while school category is a kind of limitation because then built environment education should enter to certain rules?
Exactly. And
okay, that
I
leads
think the
to
institutional context is a lot more free. And of course, we could discuss what gaps we have. So what context does not get as much attention, or what topics don't get much attention. But the liberties we have in these out of school institutions is bigger. The challenges are as big, I would say, but nevertheless, and that's why I like also the focus on putting kind of like an extra challenge topic, which can be also met in schools. But again, I think institutions working outside of schools have a lot more liberty to kind of like be active, think of new methods, try out new things, and so on. We all know in schools we're limited at times.
You are always saying schools are limited, but we have the school category where we have schools from all over the world. Shall we say that schools are the same everywhere? Of course, there are different ages also. Just let's focus on the winning project, the Japanese Straw Little House. So what do you think about the school category? Is it more a uniformized category, or our schools are the same around the world, or on the contrary, you had some nice surprise?
No, definitely. Schools are not the same all over the world. Definitely not. And that makes that category very interesting. Nevertheless, they are an institution, and this makes them the same, just the institutional framing. But we know they're so different. I've seen projects of in Peru where they work, and the school looks there a lot different from what we would imagine a school. So we know they can be very diverse, but I think they are a unique setting. They are a setting of its own. And that's why I still believe that they deserve their own category. And the stakeholders there, they're clear that these are students, yeah, that are teachers that are involved, maybe also parents, and then they are out of school partners who also come in to work there. But the numbers of stakeholders, they're kind of like, yeah, they can be identified quite quickly. They are maybe limited in number compared to institutions, institutional engagement, which can be networks quite big to coming together to do an architectural festival, for example, and so on. So no, I think the category of school is worthwhile having, because you still get a variety of projects. I mean, of redesigning school grounds to working really in class on a topic. I think the Golden Cube entries show that very well, these varieties of projects that are happening in schools.
Peter, do you think that, you know, this school institutional level has an impact, for example, on architectural education? So is there a kind of connection between Golden Cubes Award, built environment education, and university practice?
Yeah, I don't think you realize this, but this is such a brilliant question. Well, I'm sure you do realize it. My apologies. This is a brilliant question. And everybody who's on this at this meeting right now already knows that. So my apologies for what I'm about to say. I think there's some speculation in what I'm about to say, but there's a really important document that has just been published in the United States. It's called Building Impact. It's called the Rand Report, and it replaces the Boyer Report that was written in the 1990s about the future of architectural education. It's about 100 pages. I'm not going to articulate anything more than this one recommendation. And it's about increasing opportunities for students from kindergarten to graduation to explore the field of architecture more critically. And I think that the profession of architecture is about to change massively. Strategically, it is not about building buildings. It's going to be about catalyzing equity and emphasizing action during climate emergency to build resilient communities for everybody. These are all perhaps obvious things here, but that has not been the focus of architectural education for the last 150 years. I do believe it's going to change massively, and it's going to start in school and transition into something far more nimble and far more reactive and far more equitable in higher education. We're right on that threshold. So the Golden Cubes Award actually has anticipated that, and that we're seeing the diversity of what happens in some Japanese students' response to this versus some Hungarian response versus some Egyptian kids. Go around the world. They are already catalyzing that equity and emphasizing the action to build a resilient community for themselves.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. It's a fantastic feedback for all of us, and I think it makes one more reason for the participant to participate in our Golden Cubes Awards. Thank you very much for being with us and helping us to remember the last jury section. And before we go to the question series, though I can't see questions on the QIA. Yes, there is one now. But first, I would like to call Mina Minasawa to go back and to speak about our regulation, so as we are really clear how we can participate in our Golden Cubes Awards. So Mina, just to introduce her very, very quickly, Mina is an architect. She's also a member of the Romanian Order of Architects and also founding member and initiator and president of the Arhitectura Association, which is the first Romanian team that develops and promotes architecture and built environment education for children in YAUS in schools. She is the delegate of the Romanian Order of Architects at the International Union of Architects for Architecture and Children Work Program, and now she's one of our co-directors. Mina, thank you for joining us, and please give us some notes, some ideas about the regulations.
Thank you, Christina, and I thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. So I will just do a very quick resume of what we've been talking about before with our colleague Eva, and I think Peter also introduced this very well. So this session of the Golden Cubes Awards will have a special award that will be given by the international jury to a project that will address a very, very special hot topic of today's world. So if the national nomination body finds this type of this kind of project, they should not leave it aside, but send it to us also. We keep the same for awards, schools, institutions, written media, and audiovisual media, but with a special focus on this idea of the Hot Topic Award. Also, one new thing in these regulations is that the national nomination phase will have to appoint a national nomination body, not a national jury. It's a switch of names here because the award is international and the first phase will send the best projects from each country to the international phase that will have a jury. We are still working on the jury. So this webinar is the announcement of our Golden Cubes Awards sixth edition cycle. But the official launch will be, I hope, around 1st of June, when we will have the whole jury. Here you have the calendar. So around at 2nd of June, we will launch the Golden Cubes Awards 6th edition with an international jury. And we expect all the national work programs and the member sections of the UIA to send a request or to inform the UIA Secretariat till 1st of August that they will organize in their own country this national nomination process. So after the 1st of August till the 16th of March 2026, the national nomination is open. Any period from in this time, you can organize it at the national level. And all the projects will be uploaded on UIA award platform at the end. And the international evaluation will be online. The announcement of the winners will be in May 2026. And of course, as my colleague said before, in the Barcelona Congress, we will celebrate the awardees and we will have a webinar, seminar, not a webinar, sorry, where they will present their projects. And I think they will be also on the great stage of UIA awards. One more thing, not all the countries are members of the UIA, and not all the countries are organizing the UIA Golden Cubes Awards. So if you have a project and you want to present it, but you do not have the possibility in your country to do it, you can ask a neighboring country that is organizing the national nomination to receive your project. This is a new regulation that we have since the last session. And we received last time 2 projects. I hope this time will be more. So follow us and look for the countries that organize the national nomination process. Also, the eligibility is quite strict this time, so no members of the UIA work group or the Secretariat or the UIA Council can participate, nor their current business partners, employees, or students, or close relatives. We redesigned the 2 templates. You will have to fill the entry form, and you will have to put your project on the A2 template. We enlarged a little bit the place for pictures because we always have this comment that it's too little space for pictures. But you have here also a very limited space for text. So you have to write your text very clearly and very short to impact also the jury. There will be a digital folder And if the national nomination body want a physical sample of your material, they can request it, but they won't send it to the international jury. So that is from me, Christina. We are looking forward for your applications. And on our website, Architecture and Children, QIA Architecture and Children, you will find all the countries that has members in our work program. But also you can find here the links to our Facebook page and on our YouTube page, where we will put the recording of this seminar and also the next ones. And please do share the competition, and please do share our website and social media. Thank you, Christina, and I think we can have a little bit of time for questions, for answering questions.
Thank you, Mina, and thank you for all the speakers today. And now I'm kindly asking to send questions to the Q&A box down on the screen. We already had one question, but it's more to Peter. Two people are asking you to share the link of the American document, or to repeat what this document is, so as they can look it up.
I sent the web link to that. Does everybody see that publicly? I'm not sure.
On the chat?
It's on the Q&A.
Could you repeat it? Yes, one answered. Yes, we see it. Okay. So you go to Q&A and you will see the picture, which is, yes, the link. Very nice. Thank you, Peter. Fantastic. Thank you. Are there any questions to our speakers?
Yes, I have a question for the jury, actually. Peter and Angela, if she's still there. What do you have comments about this special award, hot topic?
I mean, I'm not the instigator of that, but you know, sort of responding from it, I think broadening the opportunity to acknowledge a diverse and exceptional entry that perhaps is, well, perhaps beyond the categories. I know we were very eager, you know, to acknowledge as much as we could, and there were certainly projects beyond those awarded that are deserving. So the hot topics, you know, I think I'll just speak from my perspective. You've just heard me repeating the catalyzing equity and emphasizing action on climate emergency to build those resilient communities. That could be a hot topic that I would fight for as a jury member. And I know from our different perspectives, you know, we'd like to advocate in special places. Probably a very general response there, but I think it's probably better answered by one of the committee members.
I mean, this question can be to everybody, of course, not only.
Angela, maybe?
I have a question
Go on.
just to answer for the former awardees. I would like to know from their side what was the hardest part to
What is the hardest
participate.
part, Hadi?
And who asked them to participate, actually? Because our hardest part in this job is to get people along in the competition. We promote it on our social media, we promote it on UIA newsletter and website, but how was for you? Who called you to participate, or how you find out?
So who wants to start? Dora, or Rita, or me?
Go on, Hadi.
Okay. Can I first answer Eva's question about this hot topic? Because I think it's very interesting, because each time I'm working with, for me, unprivileged communities, with the children in unprivileged communities, I found a creativity on doing different things and enthusiasm of committing to explore more about their built environment, and even think with creative ideas and solutions for challenges that they are facing, not only going to school or have access to education, but also access to entertainment. So for me, having this hot topic now with all the things that happening in the world, I guess, yani, I'm really excited about the project that will be applied, and to see how yani, I gain a lot of experience when I understand more about the different projects all over the world and what are happening in the built environment and children, not only in Egypt, but yes, I'm very excited, and I hope it goes well, inshallah. So this is for you. And for the competition, yeah, I heard from it from Dr. Heba Sfaidi, and I guess I applied. No, I applied before, and it was in the institution award, and I didn't. But it was on the national level, and I was doing something related to upcycling. And then I tried the next year. But thank God, on the first year it was during COVID time, so the winners, they didn't. It was only a Zoom meeting, so I was happy that it was in Brazil, but it was cancelled. So I was happy that I was had the opportunity to go to Copenhagen, because also the idea of meeting all of you and understanding, not through Zoom, but also face to face, what is happening. And all of us as a group, even I remember now the field visit that we did in Copenhagen, this was very inspiring to understand and to learn new things. And this inspired me a lot on not only a personal level, but also on the professional level, on how to think about the projects and the idea to engage the children. So yes, and it was very hard for me to apply, because and this way, summarizing all the projects in an E2 with the images and selecting the images. For example, the idea of, I don't know if this image is telling something or not, because we are doing a filmmaking. It's a series of films. So the idea of selecting photos that represents what we are doing. So this was for me very very hard. But the idea of having also international partners who used to be part in this project, and the idea, and also the support of Dr. Heba, it was very helpful. Yeah. I hope that I answered your questions.
From our side, we saw at first time about the Golden Cube award in the social media, but Hungary is quite a small country. Budapest, the capital, is even smaller, and this community working in built environment education is a very supported community. So we are there's some institution and some schools and some experts, and we support each other. So as we heard about this Golden Cube, we were not enemies in this, but we were not friends, but kind of some more partners. So we share the information that there is a very good competition, and let's try to participate in it. So the first is the social media for us, and then the Hungarian Architecture Chamber Institute, or I don't know the special name for that in English, but they shared, and Christina shared the competition, and we also had some conferences, and on the conference it was already announced, I think months ago, that will be again the award. So it's really helpful that we know it in time, and we are always expecting that we know it every 3 years. So this community is not changing, the participant not changing so quickly. So we really expected that, oh, it's coming in a few years again. So it helps that it's really in a regular order. That.
It's not a competition, it's an award.
Oh, sorry, yes. Okay.
I always stress that because we are used to architectural competitions, but this is not a competition. These are projects that you already did and that are awarded.
Okay. Yes. You are muted, Christina.
We are a little bit running over our scheduled time. So thank you, Dora, for your answer. And I think I will give back the floor to Mina or Carolina to finish it. But I also would like to ask that, yes, let's spread the word on social media, but also the bee community in a way knows each other in the world. It would be nice to find new personalities, new groups, new people. So I am asking everyone to help us in spreading the word that in summer we will launch the new award. And now, Mina and Carolina, please, as co-directors, could you give your final thoughts about this webinar? For my part, I'm saying goodbye and thank you very much for participation. Mina? Carolina?
Thank you. Yeah. I will give my final in Spanish and French. A la de agradecer su asistencia. El día de hoy, Carolina, no quiero
Carolina, the sound wasn't so great, but I think Zoom is kicking us out. So we all thank you for being with us today, and we hope you can spread the word as much as you can. And let's see, our next award is in Barcelona next year. And I don't know what to say more than
Please, could everyone just put on your camera so as we can make a screenshot?
Yeah.
About those who stayed with us in a nice Friday, early morning, late afternoon, early night. Okay, I can't see everyone, but I hope.
I think it's just our colleague from the UIA. I don't think she's still there. So have a nice afternoon or evening or morning.
Yes, a fantastic spring for most of us. Goodbye,
Carolina,
everyone.
from the other side of the ocean, Carolina, say pura vida. Okay. And don't forget that around 1st of June, the competition will be launched. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.